Hey everyone, I hope that you are having a great start to your week. My name's Christina. I thought I'd hop on here today and talk a little bit about PTSD. I heard rumblings of it for people that were in first responder careers, people that have seen crazy things or experienced crazy things and how that affected their lives, but you could never really tell, yet they were mentally suffering. A lot of people that are in the Army or Air Force go through it, but what I didn't realize is that subtle things can actually make you have PTSD. And I didn't actually realize that I had PTSD. I knew I had certain weird symptoms, things that would happen that basically my voice would be taken from me and I couldn't speak or I couldn't sing. And for anybody that's known me for a really long time, I grew up singing competitively. I started when I was 7, and I would sing at festivals. I would sing at Canada Day celebrations. I did pageants and spoke on stage and would sing the anthem at hockey games, at NHL games, I sang at an NFL game in front of 60,000 people. So I didn't really have a fear of speaking. And when I got into my business, I realized that there were triggers. There were triggers and there was something wrong with me and I couldn't figure out what it was. So what happens is all of a sudden it's like grief. It bubbles up inside of you and you can't get the words out. Or I'll be I went to school for music. I went to school for singing, and I could be in my car and singing to one of my favorite songs, and instantly I have tears and my voice is taken from me and I'm bawling. And it's this wave of grief that comes over you, and it hits you at any time. It hits you without any how do I describe it? It hits you and you have no idea that it's coming and you don't know when it's going to happen. And I didn't know why it was happening, and I didn't know that that's what PTSD is. So I had a really great weekend and had a workshop this weekend and a leadership retreat at my house this weekend. And we wrote letters to our future self 5 years from now. And I knew I was going to cry. Those of you that see me talk on live videos all the time, I can speak in public, I can educate people, I can empower people, I can do anything, and it doesn't really bother me. But as soon as something is a trigger for me, my voice is taken and I can't speak anymore. And that's a sign of PTSD. Now, those of you that saw a few years ago when we lost our dog Stella, very tragically in my arms on the way to the vet hospital, I had PTSD from that. But what I've learned over the past year is that my PTSD is actually triggered from way back when in high school, where I was bullied. And I was bullied badly and made to feel shameful for behavior that I didn't do. And I didn't have the confidence or courage to confront people. I didn't have the confidence to go up to them and tell them that wasn't true or that didn't happen. I dated the wrong guy. I dated a guy that was really, really popular, and other popular girls thought that they were better suited for them. And they called me a homewrecker and a slut, and they pushed me in the hallways. And there were a couple of instances outside of the school that I felt my life was in jeopardy. And I pushed all of that down. I pushed it all down. I'm stronger than that. I'm not a victim. And I pushed it down and I pushed it down and I pushed it down until I started a business, and there were triggers in my business of people who acted as if they were bullies. They never got out of high school. And there were things that happened over the last couple of years that I recognized were not common reactions. Were not common reactions, were not adult reactions, were triggers that all of a sudden I had this anxiety wave over me and I was upset. And I was like, this isn't normal. So I started seeing a counselor. And what I recognized there was speaking through it and dealing with it is so important. It's not comfortable. It sucks. There's a lot of tears, and many women are taught as they grow up to stop crying, hide your emotion. Don't do those things. It's signs of weakness, right? And those things massively impacted who I was growing up. So I shoved all of my feelings, everything that happened to me, I shoved it into a little dark box and thought I'd never have to deal with it again. Well, I have a second shot. I have a second shot to overcome these feelings, overcome this PTSD. And, there's a few different things that you can do. I think having an animal, an animal at home, whether that is a cat or a dog or something that comforts you, is a huge piece of that. I think I've learned to be present. So when I feel this wave of grief come up, I've learned to be present. I've look around the room and look at 5 things in the room and name them in my head. So for example, if I was feeling that way right now, I would say a frog that's doing yoga, a globe, a lotus flower, a trophy, and a candle holder that Izzy made me. So instead of getting spun up and going through the feelings, I become present. I press my big toe and my baby toe into the ground so that I feel present and grounded, because those feelings that are coming up are from the past. So the reason that I'm telling you is because I've become a bit of a guru at getting through this. Now, I'm not perfect. There are times that I still have moments that come up, like this past weekend, where we were releasing things and we were getting rid of grief and we were getting rid of our self-limiting beliefs. And the reason I know that I'm still dealing with it is because with that letter to self 5 years from now, I might cry now when I'm telling you, but I'm going to tell you because I think it's so important to speak through it. I wrote to myself, I'm so proud of you for pushing through the emotion and the anxiety and for growing and facing your fears. Not a normal reaction. This is not a normal reaction, but I know that it's there for a reason. I'm so proud of you for pushing through your anxiety and your fears and your feelings so that you can truly live up to your full purpose. Because I know that in 5 years' time, I'm not going to feel this way. I'm not going to react this way. I know that this is not normal. I know that this is PTSD fleshing itself out, and that facing it forward and talking about it and moving through it is healing. I know that me doing this live video is healing. I know that reading my letter, when it took me, 3 minutes of silence to get that sentence out in front of a few other people that I trusted, I know that right now I got that sentence out faster than that 3 minutes, by talking about it and by pushing through it and by pushing through the emotion and allowing yourself to feel upset, that I didn't feel like I was ever good enough. I never felt, I felt shameful of relationships that I was in. I felt shameful of behavior that, or things that I had done that people gossiped about or ridiculed me for, that I did when I was 16 and didn't have an adult brain on my shoulders. I think that it's so important to show people that you can be strong, you can be a boss, you can be amazing, but you can still have things that you work through. And so many of the people that I work with don't understand that they have no idea that I deal with PTSD. They have no idea that these emotions bubble up and that I lose my voice. They have no idea because I can speak normally in a public setting, but not show that affects me until it's something that's very, very, very personal. And then as soon as I feel it, grief comes over me, tears come over me, my voice wavers. Sometimes I can't even speak. And the girls that were here this weekend saw that I couldn't even speak. And I said to them, this is grief. This is PTSD. This is not me. This is something that I am going to overcome. And it's not easy, but you can live with it. So when these things happen, putting your big toe to little toe on the ground and going back and forth and being present, looking around and naming 5 things in the room or around you so that you're present, and then breathing, taking deep breaths and letting it go. Those are all things that can help you process that PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder symptom. And you can get through it. See, just that wave of tears, it usually takes 30 to 90 seconds to process. 30 to 90 seconds, and then you're done. But the more you talk about it, the more you get it up in the open, the more you put it in front of you instead of shoving it in a box, the easier it is to go through it. And there's so many people out there that you see as strong, you see as driven, you see as inspiring, that suffer with these symptoms. But there is hope for all of us. Thank you, Christy, and thank you, Dion. It means a lot to me. When you surround yourself with people who support you and love you no matter what, then it makes life a lot easier. It makes your processing a lot faster. It helps you level up and become better and get through all of the things and realize your full truth. The things that I realized this year, I have a voice, and it's important that people hear it. I am in control. Nobody can silence me and tell me what to do or what is valid and what isn't valid. And I am enough. Right here and now, I am enough to do the things that I want to do in this lifetime, to impact the people that I want to impact, to empower the people that I want to empower to move forward. It doesn't matter what my past is. It doesn't matter what I've been through, but I'm enough. And those are 3 really valuable things that have brought me to this point in time where I can actually come on a live video and talk about it, because I know that there are other people out there that suffer from these things. Now, I've got 3 expert tips, okay? I've got 3 expert tips that I have learned over the last year that will absolutely change the game for you, so that when you feel this way, you go into pro mode and you go pro, and you can overcome those feelings and let it pass faster. The more you actually face it, the more you talk about it, the quicker this feeling will pass, and the easier it will be to continue going on your life without having these episodes, okay? So these 3 expert tips that will absolutely make you a pro, they are what changed the game for me and allowed me to release any of the crap that was holding me back, release any of the self-limiting beliefs, the self-sabotaging thoughts, those feelings of not being enough. Those 3 tips, oh my God, I'm so excited. If you're somebody that this is relating to, or you know somebody that is dealing with this, please feel free to tag them and reach out to me for those 3 things, because it's not for everyone, but for those things actually changed the game in my progress, in my growth, in my leadership, in my personal relationships, in my communication. They changed everything for me. So if that's something that you're interested in, please reach out. I'm happy to share those things with you. And I promise you that there is hope. I promise you that there's hope and that there's a way to get through it. Nicole, shoot me a message. I'd love to help you. Hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you really soon. Bye.